Welcome to Finpod, your daily financial digest. I'm your host, Evan, and today is Thursday. Whether you're catching us before the opening bell or wrapping up after the close, we've got you covered. Finpod is brought to you by Fintwit.ai, your go-to platform for real-time trading signals from X and AI-powered stock analysis. Let's dive into today's market action. Today, the market sentiment was undeniably bullish, with both the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite closing at fresh all-time highs. This marks the fifth consecutive day of gains for these major indexes. The primary driver here is renewed optimism surrounding a potential resolution to the U.S.-Iran conflict. With mediators working to extend a temporary ceasefire and reopen the Strait of Hormuz, investors seem much more comfortable taking on risk. Additionally, today's data from the Department of Labor showed a drop in weekly jobless claims, which reassured the market that the labor market remains resilient despite some broader economic concerns. While the Dow Jones Industrial Average finished slightly lower, the tech-heavy Nasdaq led the charge, gaining over 1.5% as investors piled back into AI-focused tech giants. We saw some massive moves today, particularly in companies like Planet Labs and Black Sky Technology. Both stocks surged, with Planet Labs jumping over 15% and Black Sky climbing more than 10%. The catalyst is a combination of sector-wide tailwinds. There is intense speculation surrounding a potential initial public offering from SpaceX, which is rumored to be targeting a massive valuation. That excitement, combined with the recent success of NASA's Artemis II mission and the White House's new initiative for space nuclear power, is creating a rising tide that is lifting almost everything in the space ecosystem. In the world of AI, the story remains focused on infrastructure demand. TSMC reported stellar first-quarter results today, with net profit surging 58% year-over-year. CEO CCY was very clear, stating that AI demand is extremely robust. This isn't just a one-off, it's a structural trend where the massive computational power required for AI models is fueling unprecedented demand for advanced chip manufacturing. This report provided a major boost to semiconductor and tech stocks across the board. Other stocks in focus today included PepsiCo, which gained over 2% after reporting strong first-quarter earnings that beat both revenue and earnings expectations. On the flip side, we saw some pressure on healthcare names. Abbott Laboratories shares fell about 4%, after the company lowered its full-year earnings outlook, citing dilution from its recent acquisition of Exact Sciences, even though its quarterly revenue actually beat expectations. We also had some significant earnings news from Netflix. Shares of the streaming giant fell nearly 5% in after-hours trading. While they reported revenue of over $12 billion and earnings that topped Wall Street's expectations, the market seemed to react negatively to management's outlook and some internal corporate news regarding the departure of a high-level executive. Finally, Charles Schwab shares dropped more than 7% today. Even though they reported record revenue of $6.5 billion, investors were clearly concerned about the company's update on cash management, specifically the potential for continued cash sorting, which weighed heavily on the stock throughout the day. To wrap things up, today was a day of record-breaking highs for the major indexes, fueled by geopolitical optimism and strong earnings from tech and consumer staples. We saw a massive rally in the space sector and continued dominance from AI-linked chip manufacturers, while some healthcare and financial names faced headwinds. That's it for today's episode. If you enjoyed this update, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Finpod. For detailed analysis and AI-powered stock insights, visit Fintwit.ai. Until next time.